At some point during your lifetime, you will get into an argument or an altercation with another person. This might happen because you felt wronged, harmed, or deceived by them in some way. While some people decide to address the problem directly, others choose to take a different route by settling the score in a court of law. Most cases are legitimate and deserve to be seen before a judge, but others will just make you shake your head. These are the craziest lawsuits ever filed. If you've ever had to sit through a long class or a boring lecture, chances are you've fallen asleep at least once. Some teachers don't appreciate students dozing off in their class and will do anything to make sure that they face the consequences. This was the case for a 16-year-old student of the Danbury High School in the state of Connecticut. In 2015, a student fell asleep in class with his left ear resting on the desk when his math teacher slammed her hand down on the desk to wake him up. The boy's parents claimed that the teacher slammed her hand down so hard that his eardrum burst. The student's father stated that his son almost lost his hearing completely and might require surgery to fix the damage. The parents planned to sue Danbury High School, the Connecticut Board of Education, and the city of Danbury. We're not sure if a lawsuit was actually filed, but we're pretty sure that math teacher never tried to wake up another sleeping student again. If you've ever gone into a coffee shop and you left feeling dissatisfied with the amount of coffee in your cup, you're not alone. 6 years ago, a man named Alexander Feruzesh filed a class action suit claiming that customers ordering cold beverages from Starbucks receive less liquid than advertised, and ice normally takes up about 10 ounces worth of space in the cup. The judge stated that if children can understand the concept of ice to beverage ratios and their variations, then so can a reasonable adult consumer. The judge also pointed out that since the cups used for cold drinks are clear, it is easy for customers to see how much ice they're getting. Starbucks has even made it clear that customers are welcome to ask for extra ice or light ice when placing their order. In fact, the company claims that any customer who is unhappy with their beverage could alert their barista and simply get a new one. Maybe next time, Alexander should just get a new drink made instead of filing a lawsuit. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to get that last bit of lip balm when you're almost at the bottom of the tube? Well, this woman felt very strongly about this issue, so she decided to file a lawsuit. Angela Ebner claims that the luxury skincare company Fresh Inc. deliberately misled consumers by making them think there was more of its sugar lip treatment in the tube than they could actually access. She claims that the lip balm is packaged in a twist-up tube that only allows you to use 3/4 of the product and stops dispensing after 75% of the lip balm has been used. According to the court, no state or federal laws were breached because the package labels accurately indicate just how much balm is in each tube. The judge also stated that any reasonable consumer understands the mechanics of these types of tubes and knows that there are several ways to get those last bits of lip balm. Here's some advice, lady. Next time, just scrape out the lip balm with your finger or a tiny stick. Have you ever been the victim of a misleading advertisement? If you have, this guy feels your pain. In 2013, Jason Leslie made a realization that changed his life. Subway footlongs are not actually a foot long. Yes, Jason claims that the footlongs are not actually 12 inches long. He says some of them are short by half an inch or a full inch. Jason knows this because he is a dedicated Subway customer who has been eating roughly 50 sandwiches a year since he was 18 years old. The settlement was approved by a federal judge, and Subway agreed to pay $1,000 to each lead plaintiff. The lawyer representing Jason thought the lawsuit was worth it because it is important for businesses to be honest. If something is advertised in a particular way, then you definitely have a right to get what you think you're paying for. We can't argue with you there, sir. Almost every student has gotten a bad grade at some point in their academic career. However, not all students file a lawsuit when it happens. Graduate student Megan Thode was attending Lehigh University and studying to become a licensed therapist. She received a C+ in one of her classes, which turned her entire world upside down. She claimed that the mediocre grade prevented her from earning her desired degree and becoming a licensed therapist. She also said this cost her $1.3 million in lost earnings that she could have made as a licensed therapist. Megan sued her professor and the university for monetary damages and also wanted her grade to be changed. According to the professor, Megan had outbursts in class, did not participate adequately, was emotionally unstable, and failed to heed a warning letter. All of this is what caused her to be bumped down a full letter grade. In the end, Megan failed to prove that her grade was based on anything other than pure academic evaluation. So, the judge tossed out the case. At least she was still able to earn her master's degree in human development. Has anyone ever told you that you look like a celebrity? How did it make you feel? Some people might take it as a compliment, while others might feel insulted or even annoyed from the constant comparisons. This was the case for Alan Heckard, who was constantly being mistaken for legendary basketball player Michael Jordan. According to Alan, he could not take public transportation, play sports, eat at restaurants, or attend religious services without someone thinking he was Michael Jordan. He says people not only accuse him of looking like Michael, but playing basketball like him too, and this makes him very uncomfortable. Allen sued Michael Jordan for $416 million because his resemblance to the basketball legend caused him emotional pain and suffering, defamation, and permanent injury. He also sued Nike for the same amount because he blamed them for making Michael Jordan a celebrity. Although he eventually dropped the lawsuit, it's clear that not everybody wants to be like Mike. Do you remember the worst date you've ever been on? Of course you do. It's so bad that it's unforgettable. I bet this is the case for Brandon Vesmar, who had such an awful time on his date that he threatened to sue the woman when the date was over. Yes, Brandon took Crystal Cruz on a movie date with the hopes of showing her a good time and getting to know her. Unfortunately, Brandon claims that Crystal was more interested in her cell phone than in him. While Brandon was trying to watch the movie, Crystal kept texting. Brandon said this was a direct violation of the cinema's policy and asked her to stop, but she refused. So he told her to step outside to continue her text conversation. At that point, Crystal became annoyed and left the movie theater without returning. Afterwards, Brandon texted her and told her that she needed to compensate him for the $17 movie ticket and the $4 pizza. And if she didn't, he would try to get his money in small claims court instead. Eventually, Crystal and Brandon met up outside the same cinema, and she gave him the money he requested. Of course, Brandon didn't trust her, so he counted it in front of her to make sure the amount was correct. Safe to say, they never saw each other again. Do you know every single thing about your partner? Have they told you about all the things they did in their past? This guy clearly didn't know everything about his wife, and he found out when it was too late. Jian Feng and his wife gave birth to a baby girl, but something seemed off. Jian felt that the child did not look anything like him or his wife. In fact, he described the baby as ugly beyond description. At first, he assumed that his wife was having an affair, but several DNA tests proved that he was the child's father. At this moment, the wife confessed to having done $100,000 worth of plastic surgery before they met. Jian felt deceived and filed a lawsuit against his wife for marriage under false pretenses. A court ordered her to pay him $120,000 for his claims. Sounds pretty ridiculous, right? That's because it is. Turns out, this story was just a bunch of lies that spread across the internet like wildfire. And it all started with this meme. We've all made mistakes and done things we're not proud of. When this happens, we ask for forgiveness and try not to do it again. But sometimes, this isn't enough, and you have to take more drastic measures. In 1995, a Virginia prison inmate named Robert Lee Brock sued himself for violation of his civil rights. Yes, you heard me right. He sued himself. Robert was serving 23 years in prison for breaking and entering and grand larceny. He claimed that when he was committing these crimes, he drank alcohol, which caused him to violate his religious beliefs as a member of the Christian faith. He sued himself for $5 million, but wanted the state to pay it on his behalf, since he's unable to work and is a ward of the state. As crazy as this sounds, Robert said he would pay the money back to the state by court order when he got released from prison. See, he's not such a bad guy after all. Have you ever been complaining to someone about a problem and they responded, "Take it up with the man upstairs"? Well, that's exactly what this guy did. In 2008, Nebraska State Senator Ernie Chambers decided to sue God for all that was wrong with the world. Ernie filed the suit because he wanted God to pay for causing fearsome floods, horrendous hurricanes, terrifying tornadoes, widespread death, destruction, and terrorization of millions upon millions of the Earth's inhabitants. Those were Ernie's words, not mine. He was able to get his case before a judge, but it was quickly dismissed. The judge threw out the case because God does not have a listed home address and couldn't be properly served with the lawsuit. Interestingly, Ernie didn't seem too bothered. He claimed that the court's acknowledgement of God's existence means that they accept that God is all-knowing, which means that God already knows about the lawsuit. Do you know about any other crazy lawsuits like the ones in this video? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, that can only mean one thing. You are seriously into some weird-ish. So go ahead and press that like button And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more weird content just like this.